Yo, so they knocked me out, man. I don't know what happened, but I'm guessing I don't even know, to be honest with you. Uh they knocked me out for whatever reason, and I just want to end the show, properly. I don't know why they did that though. That was so weird. Like, what the hell? Now I'm gonna have to chop this up and make it one video, but whatever. But I was saying before they rudely knocked me off, before they rudely knocked me off, I was saying that I guarantee you, Bill Gates and others, all of them rich motherfuckers, is is guaranteed paying off these people to have these files redacted, not come out, to where to where so they can save themselves. That's what they want to do. My bad, I had joint playing. But yeah, they are getting exposed left and right, and he's gonna finish up. Let's finish up this video though with Brian Maxwell.
Hoaxes just all fall down. One more thing before I play this clip. The Democrats are so desperate. They released these photos over the last 2 days or so, and they've got redacted things. Like they got a chalkboard from Epstein's house, and they got things redacted on it, right? And they put it out and said, never before seen photos. But here's the problem. James O'Keefe, who always be busting these Democrats left and right with these undercover stings, O'Keefe released these same photos in May of 2025. So he went to the head of the House Oversight Committee, Robert Garcia, and said, hey, who's a Democrat from California, a gay man, and said, hey, dude, like, why are y'all saying these are never before seen photos when I released them in May? And they're like, well, there's other ones in there that you didn't release. And we talking about like one or two. And then the ones that they did, they've got redacted faces and redacted things on the chalkboard. And James O'Keefe is like, we already released these unredacted. They don't even have anything on them of any relevance. Why are y'all redacting that? Why? Because they use it to trick ignorant people, dumb voters. They say, oh, that's the master plan, and that must be Trump's name on there. No. Yeah. Or the girl's photo, like I showed earlier, where their faces are blacked out inside of a nightclub with Trump. Or how about the photos of Trump and Epstein are never by themselves? They're never on a private jet. There's always a bunch of people around, but they don't bring up any of the other people. That's funny.
And on side, just mass propaganda, bro. They just 97% of news that's reported about Donald Trump is all fake news, bro. It's all fake news, all bullshit. It's either complete lies or it's some truth mixed with lies. It's always negative stuff though. They're not reporting on Donald Trump how they report on all previous presidents, bro. That's why you can't trust them. It's a bigger scheme to what's going on in America right now. It's like a mass, I don't even know what to call it, bro. It's just a mass programming. It's a bigger picture that's at hand that we don't know about, And I feel like, and this is why I want to play this video tomorrow. That I wanted to play today, but I'm gonna play it tomorrow. I'm gonna do a whole joint on it, where she kind of exposes how basically Trump is like going against the elites. He's the one going against the elites. They claim Donald Trump is part of the elites and he's looking out for his millionaire and billionaire friends, but it's really Donald Trump who's actually going against the elites. So we'll get into that tomorrow, though.
But check this segment out.
A K-File exclusive on the woman that Jeffrey Epstein called, quote, my great defender. Now, you've probably not heard of her before, but she communicated with Epstein more than almost anyone else in the emails released by the House last month, which, if you read through them all, raised the questions, who is she? Epstein turned to her when he was in trouble, when he needed legal advice or PR advice, when responding to negative press about his sex offenses. Her name is Kathleen Rumler. She was White House counsel to President Barack Obama. She now is the top lawyer at the storied investment bank Goldman Sachs. And even though other high-profile figures have lost their positions after their emails with Epstein were revealed, people like Larry Summers, right? Different situation, but I mean, his name was in those emails and see what's happened there. Goldman Sachs still employs Rumler. They are defending her. And K-File's Andrew Kaczynski is out front now. Andrew, that in and of itself is different than what we saw. I mean, most obviously in the Larry Summers case, but anybody else sort of in close proximity to Epstein, it's not seen as a good thing. So it's this remarkable reporting that you have. You saw her name in here more than almost anyone else. You went through, you found out. Can you tell us more about the relationship between her and Epstein?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, so CNN's K-File, we went through the newly released emails, texts, and Epstein calendar entries, and they reveal a friendship that we found was far deeper and far more personal than previously known. These documents show more than 100 exchanges that Rumler was scheduled to meet with Epstein more than 50 times in a 5-year period.
Wow.
And look, these weren't just brief check-ins. They included lunches and dinner with celebrities, people like Bill Gates, Woody Allen, Steve Bannon, and Aaron. In message after message, we found Epstein was turning to Rumler. She was clearly a trusted confidant, someone Epstein turned to when he was worried about headlines examining his history of abuse of minors. Rumler appears to have even helped, this is something we found, even helped craft a public relations statement for Epstein in response to a forthcoming Washington Post editorial in 2019 that was calling on Congress to investigate him. Now, this was a few months before he was indicted on federal charges. Take a look at this right here. Epstein texted someone, we don't know who it is because it was redacted by House investigators, but he texted someone with what he called the Rumler proposal, writing, "This is what Kathy suggests we tell the Washington Post." Now, the statement starts, "The criticism is wrong," and the middle sentence here is really key. It says, "Far from receiving a sweetheart deal, Mr. Epstein was subject to a lengthy, aggressive, and highly unusual federal investigation for what were, in essence, local offenses." So, Aaron, we asked Rumler, did you write this statement for Epstein that said he didn't get a sweetheart deal? And she did not answer that question directly. She instead told CNN this: "I was one of a number of lawyers Epstein informally reached out to for advice. I had no knowledge of any ongoing unlawful activity on his part." Another example is 2018, when an article was published asking how Epstein escaped scrutiny. You can see it right there. It was in the Daily Beast during the Me Too movement. Epstein sent the article to Rumler, to which she replies back to him, quote, calling it a novella of rehashed crap. Now, we asked Rumler about this, and Rumler told CNN she was calling the article crap, but not the allegations, saying, "I was obviously referring to the reporting, not the allegations of any victims. I have a deep sympathy for anyone victimized by Epstein, and as I've said many times, I regret ever knowing him."
All right. I want to ask you another question, but just to be clear, the deal that she referred to as a sweetheart deal, just to be clear, we are referring to the deal with Acosta.
They
And
regret
he
regretted when you was
go
dealing
home
with
every
him.
day.
The very famous
Continue.
one that is called a sweetheart deal. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
All right. I just want to be clear. So she's okay. So that's important.
And just so y'all know, they're talking about when he was sentenced to prison, he was able to leave every day for like 12 hours a day and was going to his mansion and working all day. He'd come back in. And of course, allegedly befriended some guards. Put it like this: he only showed up there to go to sleep. And even that's questionable. So he did not serve his time like anybody else who had assaulted a young person. And it was only for 1 year and a day. It was a year and a day is all he got.
He got a county bid, man. They gave that nigga a county bid, man. Shout out to Brian Maxwell, man. Exposing the truth on this whole Epstein situation, bro. Because they getting out here, and you don't even see them talking about it right now. I know I haven't. This past couple weeks, ever since when that Stacey Flashy stuff dropped, and then Larry Summers and all this stuff started coming out, you don't even hear them talking about it no more. And that's what they do, because it's on to the next thing. It's on to the next thing that they can use to try to impeach Trump, try to put something out there, the narrative. So when these midterms come up, the election can get swayed their way. It's all it's about, bro. It's about power. It's all it's about. You know what I mean? These people are jokes, man. But, hey, man, it is what it is. On to the next. So let's tap in with Philly Fan 21. Get some updates on the Eagles.
Offensively, I think that there's a lot of things to take away from. I'll say this. Watching the game, incredibly frustrating, was like losing my mind in the production truck and upstairs watching the game as it unfolded because they continually killed themselves with interceptions and penalties and turnovers and things like that. But going back and watching the tape, I really do think that there were some positive things to take away from the game offensively. I thought the offense did some really good things this past week that they can build on.
I was much more encouraged from the Eagles offense last night than I was Many games this year.
From the play calls, the offense, or not Jalen? Just the play calls or everything?
Just the play calls, the style of offense. They were
it.
way more scheme diverse. They had way more route options. There were guys open more consistently last night than there have been all season.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what I've been saying the past couple days, and several film breakdowns after the Chargers game only further prove that point. I mean, the Eagles' offense took some clear strides in terms of play design, route concepts, and just the overall design of the offense in general, whether it was going under center and creating some advantages in the run game, which definitely paid off, or it was playing off of that and going with some nice play action coupled with better route concepts. I mean, they had some designed rollouts and different formations, which were nice as well, and just overall, it was a really nice change of pace for this offense and definitely a step in the right direction. Now, again, not saying it was perfect. I mean, there were still plenty of...
Jalen Hurts also, he be missing some reads, bro. He be missing some reads, and I'm talking about touchdown reads where I'm like, yo, how didn't he see that? But hey, man, when you're not on that field, you can't relate, bro. It's just what it is. And, you know, you got 300-pound motherfuckers coming at you. It's different, but, you know, Jalen Hurts was missing reads that he normally won't miss, you know. And that one thing that I want to see Jalen Hurts start doing at the end of this season and going into this playoffs is start looking at his progressions faster. I feel like he's been hesitating way too much, and it's putting him in these, you know, scramble situations, and most of the time it's either a bad pass or he's throwing it in his intentional grounding or something. And he's got it, and that's what these plays, and I'm watching some of these play schemes, they were better, you know, and this is why it's important for the play calling to get better. Because if you're going out here with these, you know, these ABC plays, it's not gonna pan out, you know, and he has to be able to get that ball out quick. And them little, you know, them little flat passes is cool when you're trying to get a little quick it's 3rd and 2 when you're trying to get a quick first down or something. But when it's 3rd and long, bro, and you need a first down and you dumping it off in the flat, to me, that is crazy. You got to do. I'd rather see you know, under the center, I formation, play action. I want to see, you know, you got that. You have way more options coming out of you know, a play action type scheme. You know, and he needs this. He's been hesitating so much this year, and I'm just watching like, yo, he's like, bro, in the NFL, you have to let that ball go. You got to let it go. And no matter what, even if you're throwing it out, you gotta get rid of it quickly. You gotta be able to look to, you know, 1, 2. You gotta look fast. Like, you know, it's just a lot.
The problems with the scheme and play calling, and there were still very poorly designed and schemed plays in this Chargers game, and the film breakdowns show that as well. But again, no doubt it was definitely a step in the right direction. Which, by the way, that directly correlates with Nick Sirianni apparently stepping in and taking more control of the Eagles' offense last week. So, not saying he's an offensive genius or anything like that, but he definitely deserves some credit for helping to get things moving in the right direction. Now, the key is just going to be, one, can they build on that and implement some more things this week? And also, can the players execute? Because that was obviously the main problem in the loss to the Chargers. But if they can do that and put it all together, there might honestly be reason to be cautiously optimistic about this offense moving forward.
I know you guys obviously caught some of the changes we made this week, but it's kind of, you know, it's kind of an antagonist to every week, right? When we do something very well, then there's another thing that comes up and kind of bites us, and then we got new things that come up maybe 2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks later after that, and so we just got to find a way to put it all together, and that's every aspect of what makes this unit, makes this group what we are. So we've got to find a way to do that at a high level.
Yeah, we definitely.
And one thing that I love about Jalen Hurts, bro, is no matter what, and I have confidence in Jalen Hurts because he's a winner. That's one thing nobody can say. Jalen Hurts is a winner. And but this is football. It's a team sport, and everybody has to play their part. And this is why when A.J. Brown had he had every right to say some of the things he's been saying. But this is why you need that, you know, things to gel. You know what I mean? Defense start gelling. They're playing way better, looking really good. And now we just need the offense to click. Minus, you know, you can't you got to accept the fact that we don't have Cam Jurgens and we don't have Lane Johnson, who are two major pieces, especially having Lane Johnson. And I said this yesterday on the show that I believe that we should really wait on bringing Lane back because Lane, let's be honest, great player, one of the best at his position for sure, but he's injury prone. It's just what it is, and he's at the ladder of his career, so he needs to. If I'm the Eagles, I'll sit Lane, possibly play him against the Bills, but we don't need to play him against the Raiders, bro. We don't need to play him. We can play and beat the Raiders without him. All we need to do is keep the play calling expanding, number one. But offense starts with the offensive line, though, because you need to run the ball. If you can't run the ball, it's going to be very hard to get the pass game going. But if you can run the ball, it's going to open up everything. Plus you got Jalen being able to run out the backfield too. But you need that running game going. So the offensive line starts with the offensive line. And they know it. If they can get the offensive line to, do what they did even against the Chargers, you see what Saquon can do. When he has them pockets, he's going to hit it.
Definitely made strides. I think the O-line did a really good job of establishing the line of scrimmage. So it always starts up there, establishing a line of scrimmage, and then it's my job to set us up and put us in the right position and make plays when plays are needed to be made. And we had some success in that last week. Now you just build on it and, most importantly, try to get a win.
The place I think the Eagles have to start is the run game. Yep. I mean, again, that finally got going this past week against the Chargers. Saquon had his second-best game of the season, and the offensive line was doing a much better job just executing and getting movement in the run game. So I think they should double.
I ain't gonna lie, I gotta run that back real quick. Because, did you see him hit them? Did you see him hit that? Look at this.
Finally got going this past week against the Chargers. Saquon had his second-best game of the season, and the offensive line was doing a much better job just executing and getting movement in the run game. So I think they should double down on that, build on the under-center stuff that worked, and commit more to the overall run game going forward. And then, in turn, that should open up everything else. Now, unfortunately for the Eagles, it doesn't look like they're going to be getting the help they so desperately need along the offensive line this week, as the latest injury updates from practice regarding the O-line aren't exactly super promising. Now, for one, Landon Dickerson missed practice on Thursday with a calf injury, but recording this before the final injury report came out, my guess is that this is partially just a rest day for Landon because he was limited on Wednesday, so I would expect him to play. But again, worth noting that he's been beat up all season. And then unfortunately, once again on Thursday, right tackle Lane Johnson was absent from practice. So it really is seeming like we're going to have to wait yet another week for his return. And reporter Jeff McClain echoed that, saying, quote, "Sounding like Lane Johnson will need another week before returning to the Eagles lineup. Sunday's opponent also doesn't make his return imperative." And I guess that's a good point because, the Raiders obviously are one of the worst teams in the league. So in theory, the Eagles should be able to handle business at home even without Lane. But obviously, they are kind of spiraling right now. So it'd be nice to get the extra help, especially since the one real major threat on the Raiders defense that could actually ruin things for the Birds on Sunday is edge rusher Max Crosby, who typically lines up on that right side. So with the way it's looking, backup right tackle Fred Johnson is definitely in for a challenge. And, not saying he can't handle it, but it's definitely a matchup to keep your eye on.
Fred Johnson been playing pretty good, though. They've been playing pretty good, especially in the last game. So they just got to, bro, if they can get that, that offensive line to click for 4 quarters, bro, we win the game, no, hands down.
Challenges do the Raiders present to you, or from what you've seen so far, what do they do well?
Well, I mean, they got a really disruptive front led with Max Crosby. And the way he plays, he's all over the field, has a high motor. So definitely got a lot of respect for him. And the linebackers are, I feel, very underrated in how they play and fly to the ball, how physical they are. And so we just, got a good defense in front of us, and we just got to go out there and really find our game and play our game.
Aside from Max Crosby, this Raiders defense is actually semi-underrated, as they're ranked towards the middle of the pack in total yards, pass yards, and rush yards, while also being near the bottom in points allowed at number 24, allowing 25.5 points per game. So, they're obviously not great, but probably better than you would initially expect from a team that is 2-11. And we've seen this Eagles offense struggle very recently against defenses that are statistically worse than the Raiders, such as the Cowboys and Bears. So the Eagles offense is looking to put it all together this week and bounce back, but they definitely can't take this Raiders defense too lightly. Now,
that's a fact, man. Shout out to Philly fan 21, man. You know what I mean? That's the Eagles segment. Yo, Eagles going to listen, man. That's all we need is a good. If we can end these last 4 games, and especially go and play Buffalo and handle business, I think playoffs is going to look very, very good. We need some wins. We need to go to the playoffs with some wins, and hopefully, in that, I'd rather be in that 1 or 2 seed for sure. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens, man. But we got the tools. We just gotta show up. And I'm happy that Lane Johnson isn't playing, because he's a key piece that we need in the playoffs, and we can't afford for him to get re-injured. Like, because if he gets re-injured, it's over. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? But on another note, politically, I just, I hope that I really hope that in the end, come 2020, end of 2026, going into 2027, when the economy is booming and things are looking up, and all of these people with this Epstein and all this fraud and get exposed, Ilhan Omar gets deported, just all of these things that need to happen. People need to be held held accountable. So that way they know. So that way the people know. It's not even necessarily anybody. Fuck the politicians. It's about the people knowing that when these things happen, people will be held accountable accordingly. Not getting locked up for fake shit, not making up and trumping up charges to try to go. They keep talking about going after your political opponent. Come on, stop it. Stop it. They went after Trump for 8 years, bro. 10 years. Whole decade going after this man, then, raided Mar-a-Lago, then, locked this man up, then Trump charges up on him. Bro, so much. I don't feel bad for none of these people. They deserve everything that they get, especially if it's honest. You know what I mean? It's not like Trump is coming out with all of these, fake, allegations. These things are really happening. But the unfortunate part is that the Democratic Party isn't a weak party. They definitely got power. They definitely got a lot of influence within the government, within the judicial system, and more. So that's the scary part. And we're going to see. And I hope nothing comes of it, bro. But like I'm going to keep saying, I don't put nothing past these people, bro. I put nothing past these people. But anyway, man, sorry for the outage, man. It is what it is. But I'm going to combine the videos and then I'm going to repost it. And, so that way you get the full video. But that's a show for today, man. If you fuck with the show, make sure you like, share, comment, and also subscribe to the channel. Just subscribe right now. Get it over with. It costs you nothing. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until tomorrow, I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.